In this video, we're going to talk about prime numbers. What is a prime number? A whole number. Actually, let me say a natural number, a counting number. A natural number, x, is said to be prime, if and only if, that means precisely when the only two positive numbers, let's say the only two natural numbers, the only two natural numbers that go into x is 1 and x itself, and 1 is not prime. So we're going out of the way to say, in addition, 1 is not prime. So for example, 7 is prime because 1 goes into 7, 7 evenly goes into 7, but nothing else does. 2 doesn't go into 7, it's 3.5. 3 doesn't go into 7 evenly, it's 2 and a third. 4 doesn't go into 7 evenly, it's 1 3/4. 5 doesn't go in evenly, it's 1 2/5, I guess. 6 doesn't go in, it's evenly, it's 1 6. We said 7 did, but 8 doesn't go in because it's less than 1. Our number can only go into 7 if it goes in 1 time, or 2 times, or 3 times. Not less than 1 time. Can't go in 0 times. Okay. So 7 is a prime number. However, the number 8, let's say 12. The number 12 is not prime. Yes, 1 goes into 12. That's always going to be true. 12 goes into 12, but so do other numbers. 2 goes into 12 evenly. 3 goes into 12 evenly. 4 goes into 12 evenly. And 6 goes into 12 evenly. 12 is not prime. And 1 is not prime either. Why? Because it's part of the definition. The only numbers that go into 1 is 1 and the number 1 itself. This actually satisfies the definition of prime numbers if we didn't say and we're removing 1 from primes. 1 is not prime. Well, what do we call the numbers that aren't prime? A natural number that is not prime and not 1, there we go again, and not 1, is called a composite number. For example, 6 is not prime because there are numbers that go into 6, like 2 and 3. They both go into 6, and they're not 1 or the number itself. This number is composite. Okay? Is the number 1 composite? I mean, it's not prime. No. We said a natural number that is not prime and not 1. That's 1. Is called composite. but we removed it. We said 1 is not composite either. 1 is neither prime nor composite. Let's formally state that 1 is neither prime nor composite. Why? By definition. We removed it from the primes and in the definition of prime numbers, and we removed it from the definition of composite numbers. Okay? 1 is neither prime nor composite. Okay, so I'll give you a list of numbers and I'll ask you to say if they're prime or composite, or neither. And the only one you should say, yep, neither, is 1. As long as it's a natural number. 8, 14, 20, 7, 2, 81, and the number 16. Okay, prime or composite. This one is composite, excuse me. This number is composite because 2 goes into it. And 2 is not 1 or the number 8 itself. This number is composite because 2 goes into it. I mean, so does 7, and in this number 4 goes into it as well. But as long as I can find one number other than 1 and the number itself is composite. And I know that all even numbers, 2 goes into it. Now 7, nothing goes into 7 evenly other than 1 or 7 itself. Now what goes into 2? Well, 1 goes into 2. Well, we knew that. And 2 itself goes into 2. But nothing larger is going to go into 2 because it's less than 1. For a number to go into, say, 81, it has to go into 81 at least one time. Okay, so 2 is prime. 81 is composite because 3 goes into 81. You may not know that, but most people know immediately that 9 times 9 is 81. That means 9 goes into it, because 9 times 9 is 81, and 9 goes into it. It goes in coincidentally 9 times. 16, it's an even number. It is composite because 2 goes into it. So does 4, so does 8. But 2 goes into every even number. Any even number other than 2, if I say 24, it's an even number, 2 goes into it. Every even number, so let me write down some even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, etc., etc., etc. With the exception of 2, all of these numbers are composite, because 2 goes into them. Now, why do we rule out 2? I mean, 2 goes into 2, but that number is 2. 2 always is going to go into 2. We want to, just like 10 always goes into 10, and 14 goes into 14, and, here's a prime number, 23. 23 goes into 23. But when it comes to 2, for it not to be prime, we have to find something other than 1 and 2. And we can't. So 2 is not a prime number, but all other numbers are prime. There's a silly joke. What is the oddest, as in strangest, odd number? Sorry. What is the oddest prime number? And the answer is 2. It's odd as in different, strange, because of all the primes, they have to be odd with the exception of 2. 2 is the only even prime number. All the other primes are odd. Should have put down some more odd numbers up here. I'm not saying each and every odd number is prime. I mean, 81 is odd, but it wasn't prime. But 3 is prime. 5 is prime. 7 is prime. 9 is composite because 3 goes into it. But 11 is prime. 13 is prime. 15, well, let me write P for prime. 15 is composite because 5 and 3 goes into it. 17 is prime. 19 is prime. 21 is 7 times 3. That is, 3 goes into 21 and 7 goes into 21. That makes it composite. 23 is prime. 25 is composite. 5 goes into it. 27, 3 and 9 go into it. After all, it's 9 times 3. 20 composite. 29 is prime. 31 is prime. 33, well, clearly 3 goes into it evenly, so it's composite. 35, 5 and 7 go into it. 37, it's prime. Now, if I bother to say the even numbers, here's what I'm going to say for every even number. The number 4 is composite because 2 goes into it. The number 6 is composite because 2 goes into it. The number 8 is composite because 2 goes into it. The number 10, 2 goes into it. So does 5, but 2's enough. 12, 2 goes into it. It's composite. 14, 2, which is neither 1 nor 14, go into it. So it is composite. 16, 2, which is neither 1 or 16. Found a number other than 1 or 16 that goes into it is composite. 18, 2 goes into it. 20 is composite. 2 goes into it. 2 goes into all even numbers, including the number 2. The issue with 2 is 1 and 2 go into it. You can't tell me anything else. So it's prime. When it comes to this even number, 1 goes into it, 2 goes into it, but 22 goes into it. I found a number other than 1 and 22. 2 goes into it. It is composite. 24, 2 goes into it. It's composite. Okay, 2 goes into every even number. 2 goes into 124, 62 times. Makes it composite. Okay, other than 2, if you want to check to see which numbers are prime, you write down 2, 3, 5, so 2 and then the odd numbers. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Somebody said to you, write down the first 10 primes. I would make this list. Notice I don't put 1 because it's neither prime nor composite. That's 1, that's the second, that's the third, that's the fourth, that's not 1, that's 5, that's 6, that's composite. 7, 8, that's composite. 9, that's composite. That's composite. And then 29. There are my 10 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Somebody asked me to list any 10 prime numbers. Doesn't even have to be the first 10. Of course, I would do with this one no matter what. Who wants to figure out in the 2000 range if a number's composite or not. But notice, other than 2, I did not put in 4, or 6, or 8, or 10, or 12, because they cannot be composite. Okay, that finishes the section on prime numbers. If only 1 and the number itself go into it, that number is prime. Unless it's 1 and it's not prime.